class. So today we're going to be talking about how to pass any prop firm evaluation. Um, so usually we're just going to get right into it. Usually, depending on the prop firm, you're going to have to make about 6% on your account without losing four. Um, so there's a lot that goes into it. There's managing risk. There's obviously knowing how to trade and stuff, but I'm basically gonna break it down into like three of the main key things that you have to know, and that you have to be good at to have the skills to then go and pass an evaluation. So, um, number one is a confidence in the strategy. So, to be successful in trading, you obviously have to be confident in your strategy. But what that looks like is having a defined strategy, knowing your stats on that strategy, and then only taking trades that fit your strategy. And with that is ignoring the noise. Um, Something that helped me kind of turn that corner with trading was like realize that I'm not gonna catch every big move. As much as I'd like to, as much as I'd love to make like X amount of dollars a day, it's very unrealistic and it's probably not gonna happen. For me, like the spin that I kind of put on things was like the market. It's very hard to catch that big move every single day unless you're like just up here trading, and I'm not. Not a lot of people are. I mean, there's a handful, but you know. But basically, if your strategy is a liquidity sweep breakup structure fair value gap, and that has a 60% win rate, only take that strategy. If you see price jumping, and you're like, oh, I could get in. Right now, it's moving. You might win some of those trades, but it's not consistent, and in the long run, that's gonna hurt you because the next time you're like, oh, it's so automatic. I see it pumping up. You get in, it goes down. You lose that, and then you go into freak out mode because you just lost $500 to $1,000 on this trade that isn't your strategy. Trading isn't. It's not about making money in a single day. Like it's not about how much money you made in a single day. It's are you trading in a system that is repetitive? And if you make X amount of dollars one day, if somebody came into your room, tapped you on the shoulder, and was like, "All right, do it tomorrow," can you do the same exact things, the same exact process? Can you repeat that? If the answer is yes, then you're probably on your way to being profitable, if not profitable already. Um, but the only way you will be good at trading is if you systematically do the same thing every single day, and it basically breaks it down as a percentage. If you have a 1-to-1, you need technically a 51% win rate to be profitable. That'd be awful, but with the lowest RR, you need to win 50% of the time. If you have three confluences, you're going to be taking less trades, but it's more than likely you're going to have a pretty high win rate. Risk management. Now, there's a couple different ways you can play this. It honestly depends on what kind of trader you are. If you can hold trades for longer, you don't need that much leverage. If your RR is like a 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4, you may risk $400 to potentially make 12 or 1.2k, 1,200. Um, but if you're a 1-to-1, you maybe have to risk 500 upwards, 750. Like if you're on a 50k account. Um, so risk management is basically figuring out what your risk to reward is on average with this strategy that you have back tested and that you have confidence in. Um, and then figure out what your average RR is. If you're using, I don't think I can. Yeah, I mean, if you're using FX Replay, I don't think. Yeah, if you're using that, it tells you all your stats, all the stuff that you need to know. So figure that out, and then stick with it and risk money accordingly. Um, the third thing is be patient and content. This kind of goes into you're gonna have to ignore a lot of stuff. Um, you're gonna have to ignore the big moves. You're basically gonna have to ignore everything that isn't your strategy and your confluences that you have said that you know that work. Um, and that's hard. It's hard. It takes discipline because you basically have the strategy, and sometimes you might not even take a trade in a day. But you saw this giant move, and now you're sitting thinking like, oh, does my strategy even work? My strategy didn't work on this big move. It's not about catching the big moves. It's about being able to be consistent over time. So if you have a strategy, be patient. Even like when you're backtesting, figure out like how long you have to wait after market open. Usually, like on average, maybe I'm in Central Time. Maybe market opens at 8:30. Most of my trades I'm not taking until like 9:45, 10 in that macro. Um, so that kind of I know I have to wait for an hour for price to develop, and then maybe I'll see my strategy. Um, and you have to be content with that. Like you genuinely have to be okay with that. Because it's a survival game. It's not a like a one and done kind of thing. It's a survival. How long can you survive in the markets? How long can you follow your strategy? Yeah. And 3A, I just have don't compare yourself. Um, this is it's very hard to do this. And I did it two different ways. One was like obviously like when you maybe lose some money on a day, and then you open up Instagram and you see like all your favorite traders like catching the same move. And they made a bunch of money. And then you're like, oh damn, bro, like what am I doing wrong? I suck. Let me go buy the course. Don't compare yourself because you'll never have the same conviction as another human being, and that's with life too. I'm not gonna lie. Like your reasoning for why you do something will never be the same as someone else's. Same with trading. The reason they took this trade, you will never fully understand how their brain works. Even if you're in like a Discord and you watch them, you can't like you'll never understand their conviction and like why unless you know their strategy and yada yada yada. Um, so yeah, I mean, just compare, don't compare yourself to them, and also if you have a strategy that works is the foundation if you don't have a strategy that works, I'm not glad you're screwed. You go find one on YouTube, backtest, make it your own, make it make sense to you, but like don't compare your strategy to another one. I trade a 1-to-1 mostly. The highest RR I'll get is a 1-to-2. I'm mostly taking 1-to-1s, and I need like three things to happen before I take that 1-to-1. Very short, max 1% on the day, but I have a high win rate. So I'm not gonna sit here and compare myself to like this turtle soup trader that will catch the entirety of a move. Like I'm not. That's not how I trade. I'm confident in my model. No, like I'm just. I don't want to take that, because I know my model works. So it's. You have to get to a point where you know that what you do works, and that's just honestly it changes your mindset on how you approach things. But yeah, I think that's all. If you do these three things, you probably will pass any prop firm evaluation. Actually, passed two prop firm evaluations today. Shout out Alpha Futures. Use my code. I don't have one yet. But yeah, if you do these three things, then you should be good. Um, And that's all.